Hi guys, I will do a little video in a minute on my copper and carbon clock here, or at least copper and carbon galvanic cells running this clock. It's actually struggling. This morning there was no display at all. During the day I think it's warming up in the sunshine and that's producing enough power for it to run. So it's been running for 7 hours 11 minutes. Once it got warmed up, I don't know if we can see that. There we are, 7 hours 11 minutes. But as I say, this morning there was no display at all. Last night there was a display, and yesterday morning there was no display. So we'll have a look at it in a minute. I can see just looking through it that the copper plates are actually nice and clean and shiny, because they're the ones that are getting depleted or eaten away. Yeah, we'll look at that in a minute. I'm just going to make a cup of tea for Nanny, and then we'll have a look. Time for a review of the carbon and copper galvanic battery that I put together. 3 cells. At the moment, you might be able to see we've actually got a display. We've had a display for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or more now. I can't remember when I started this running. But day before yesterday, there was no display. I twiddled around with things, nothing happened, left it. By the end of the day, we did actually have a display, which I think is the warm weather, or the sun, warming the jars up a little bit. That probably increases their conductivity. And then this morning there was no display. And then this afternoon, again, we have a display. So I thought it'd be a good time to do a review of what we've actually got. First one we'll look at, this key at this end is probably brass rather than copper, but it's a good place to start, because if I turn it the right way, I can lift it out through the keyhole slot that I created. There we go. And we can see it's actually shiny for the area that was in the water. So rather than stuff depositing on it, it's actually losing stuff to make it shiny. There's a clear ring there where the water line is. Because this is the anode. Normally the copper or the brass would be the cathode, and would have something like magnesium strip as the anode. That's a good example of one that I've replaced. You can probably see that's been eaten right through. Well, it was only a thin strip to begin with, so no surprise that it gets eaten all the way through. Whereas this one will have a long way to go before it's eaten all the way through. So put that one down. The carbon itself, I mean, there is a bit of black down there. In fact, there's some just dropping down there now. I don't know whether the carbon is being eaten away or whether that's just the original carbon rod, where I scraped the surface to make sure it was clean when it came out of the battery, because I recovered these out of AA batteries. I say water, I think there's, yes, I did put some vinegar in there as well to spice it up a bit. Okay, we've got a display straight away as soon as I put that back in. So that probably helped just cleaning the surface. Can we see that display? Probably not with the light the way it is. Okay, so that's, I think, a brass key rather than a copper key. This one, I'll lift this off, put it out of the way. So this is a bit of copper, it's a copper pipe. And again, we've got a clear area. Actually, that's gone a bit dull. Yeah. When I looked at this yesterday it was all that colour. It's gone a bit darker for some reason. But again, that indicates that it's losing stuff rather than stuff depositing on it. Or at least it did then, but something was deposited on it there. And as we can see, we've got some carbon forming at the bottom here. It may or may not be carbon. It may be stuff left from the original battery. Although, as I say, I did try to clean all that off. If you find the original video, I did have problems. Some of the carbon rods from the batteries worked fine, and some of them didn't work at all, as if there was some different chemical composition to them. I actually can't see the screen because it's a bright sunny day, but that's quite shiny. Interesting. So pop that back in there. Oh, let's have a look at the display while we put it back in. Okay, nice good strong display there. If the camera's picking it up. That one back down again. And then this one I can't lift the copper pipe out because it's too big. What I do is I take copper hot water pipes, or well, just ordinary water pipes, cut them up the middle and then flatten them out. Right, we seem to have oh, don't use that one. There does seem to be something on the surface of that. Yeah, it's quite yellow. Well, this is interesting. Each one's different. I might check that one again in a minute. If I put it up in the light, you can see it's not shining. It's got a patina. Whereas I originally polished it up like that one. So I think the surface has been eaten away, which is why we have a patina, but there was definitely something on the surface of it. And see, that one's not coming off as much as the other one did. At the moment, I can't make any hard scientific conclusions from this. Certainly the copper is being eaten away a bit. We got a bit of patina where the surface has been eaten away, but we did have a layer of something yellow had built up on it. Let's have a look at that clock again when we put it in. Yeah. Let's have another look at this one, because where I thought it was a... Well, let's take it out that way. Yeah, this one seems to be cleaner than the other one. But it's still got a patina rather than a shiny copper surface. Well, that's a better example. Etched is probably the word I'm looking for. Surface has been etched away. Okay, well, that will do for now. That was just a update. I have to clean the table now. Made a mess of it. Got carbon black on it. Oh, that was the only other thing I wanted to show. One of the other experiments, I used lead, and the same things happened with that. It's been etched. The surface has been etched away. That was shiny before we put it in. A bit of a shiny edge to it up there. There we go. That's shiny. Oh, got messy fingers now. If I rub it, I can get the polish back onto it. Okay, yeah, that'll do. So nothing concrete or scientific, just observation that the surface is being etched away, but not being eaten away as bad as the magnesium. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.